Products I used are listed in the description box below, which I use on my leave out so I can protect it from the heat. So whenever I am wearing my hair straight, I try to do a sew-in because it's less damaging on the rest of my hair, and it's just easier to manage and straighten without that heat that I'm gonna add with the blow dryer and the flat iron and the curling. It's just much better to use a straight sew-in than to just do it on my natural hair all the time. So when I'm blow drying, right, I do a rough blow dry just to get a lot of the water out of the hair, and then I go in with a brush after when it's like about, let's say, 70% dry, and then I pull it straight. But because this hair is already straight, I don't necessarily have to do much work with pulling it straight. So this hair I've had for a while. I got it from KCW Hairs in Jamaica. I find the quality to be really good. I've had it for, let's say, a year, maybe more, but it's been a while. I find the texture really blends well when I'm straightening. When I'm trying to blend it with my hair, it's really good quality. When I'm blow drying, although yes, I'm using a brush, I still allow the hair to blow up a little bit, just so my hair can get a little bit of body, because I do like the blow dried look, but I don't necessarily know how to use a round brush on my own to get that round brush volume. So how I get that volume on my own is by kind of holding the blow dryer up a little bit so the hair can blow to create that volume effect, but I'm still holding it so it doesn't get all crazy and I look like a lion. My sewing was done with Samoy. It was such an awesome experience. She washes and treats your hair and make sure that it's flat and undetectable. I would definitely recommend 10 out of 10. So the ends are dry and I have the volume that I want. I try to focus the heat on the roots, which sometimes when you have a sew-in, it's hard to get the parts closer to your head really dry because of the cane rows that you have underneath. So I try to focus the heat there to make sure that it's all dried before I continue to my leave out. Okay, so when that's all done, time for the leave out part. I do have some straight ends because of bleaching, but I do put heat protectors and thickeners on this region of my hair just to not to create any further damage. So when it grows out, then I'll cut those bits off. But straightening my leave out is pretty easy. My hair is pretty easy to straighten, so it doesn't take much. It doesn't take as long as the sewing would. And we do the same method of like a rough blow dry to get 70% of the water out, then use a brush to pull it straight. So because my roots are curly, I do need to pull the roots straight compared to the leave out that's already straight. So it does take a little bit more work on my curls. So when everything is all dry, leave out hair, sew in everything. I then further try to pull my roots out, my roots straight, to make sure everything is all blended. Then I use the dryer and further blend everything together and give it some volume. Getting the blowout look is relatively simple with the flat iron, where I straighten with the flat iron. I do the one pass through with the iron, but then on the ends I curl the ends, and then when I curl the ends I put the curlers in to keep that curl. And I do this on my entire head to give that to keep that voluminous look. The curlers are really important. So when I reach the top, I do the one pass through, then I do the curls. I try to do them from the roots to give a little volume, and then I put the curlers in all the way up to the roots so I can get that volume at the root as well as the rest of the hair. Okay, when I'm all done, I do a little hairspray, and then I wait about an hour or two. The longer you wait, to be honest, is the better it is, but I can't sleep in them, so I waited about an hour or two, then I pull them out. When pulling out, I try to twist the curlers to keep the formation of the curl when pulling them out, just not pulling them out directly and pulling them straight, because these curlers are kind of like brushes. So if you pull them straight, then you might lose the curl. Then my favorite part, which is the top. Didn't realize that it cut the top of my head off a little bit, but you do the same motion of pulling out with the curl in the curl pattern, so you don't straighten the curl out too much. And just kind of blend everything together with your fingers. It's important to not use a brush or a comb right now, because that might comb out the volume a little bit, and we don't want that just yet. And that is our quote-unquote blowout with a flat iron at home. It's really easy. It took me a couple hours just because I left the curlers in for a couple hours, but it's really simple, easy to do. And that's it. Thanks for watching.